Hi everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyazifunde iy'ncwadi ebhalwe ngolimi lwethu lwesiZulu bese siza la sizokhuluma ngazo le ndaba esuke siy'fundile. Senzela laba phela abangenaso isikhathi sokufunda iy'ncwadi nalaba abanqenayo nje ukufunda. Siyaphinda futhi sibuka ama-reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese siza la sizokhuluma ngawo lama shows, senze ama-recaps, ama-reviews, siphinde futhi sikhulume any other issues avukayo uma ngabe lama-shows sesiwabukile kwi-TV. Uma ngabe uyaqala ukusijoyina namhlanje and you really like our content, ngoba sifuna abantu abazofika la ba-complain. Sifuna abantu who are going to come here and just have fun. If you really like our content, ungakhohlwa ukupress subscribe la ngezansi. Uma ngabe ibhathini elibovu kusho ukuthi awukaka-subscribe, kodwa uma li-grey lisho ukuthi ususubscribe-ile ungasathintaki. Uphinde futhi upresse i-notification bell la eduze kuka-subscribe ukuze phela uthole umyalezo uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesiwufakile. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very important meeting on this channel because we, the viewers of Real Housewives of Durban, we are going to be sitting in the boardroom. Boardroom yethu nje. Neighbor boardroom yet. We are sitting in this boardroom today because it is us who are the very executivist producers. The final decision today has to be made. The season is almost over and we have to sit here and decide because contract for season 3. So we have to sit here and look at this season and see how it's going and decide possibly ubani obuyayo next season ubani ongabuyi. So ladies and gentlemen, be ready to vote in the comment section. Tell me ukuthi so far this season ubani ombone ngathi siyamdinga next season. If you want to write for me, and what are those reasons? I'm very interested to know. For you guys, who do you think should come back next season and who should not come back next season? If you've got somebody that you know around Devon that you think is influential, Bonang Pella explained on her show. Anyway, I'll be doing Bonang's show. Those who are interested, she explained what's the difference between being influential and being an influencer. You know, as we know, laba abasanganayo la on abasanganayo lapha ku-Instagram, nibonile umsangano umuntu ekhuluma ngomngane wakhe. Yes, those are influencers. Tina, here we want the influential people. If you know anybody that you think should join the show next season, as we are the executivist producers on this channel, we are going to be making those decisions today. So before such a decision, Pella, we have to look at our cast members and see how have they done this season. We're going to start with our most matured. Let me not say old, but she did say she is the oldest and the wisest. So I guess it's okay to call her old. So sizoqala ngoSorisha. How has uSorisha done this season? Honestly, guys, like I've said, my issue with uSorisha has been that she doesn't really have a storyline. We did see her lose her dog this season. And obviously, that storyline couldn't have lasted as long as they did. It really should have been Kuzana a storyline for just one episode. And I'm glad because they didn't drag it for the next episode because some of us really would have been bored with that story. But other than that, honestly, she hasn't had a storyline. I haven't seen uSorisha, besides spending time with Ulokuzan, with Uma Khumalo, I haven't seen uSorisha making efforts to spend time with Unonku individuals, to spend time. Ulachong was the one who called uSorisha because she wanted to confess in Dabaga, Jay-Z, Zuma, that we already knew last season. It's like and then with Annie, I haven't seen her just making those efforts to get to know these women because other than that, she doesn't have a storyline. So I am struggling to see her come back next season. But I do understand because Sorisha is married to a very powerful man, Mr. RHOD, and it's not going to be easy for these producers to let her go. Listen, the producers are business people as well. So I imagine them telling Sorisha, you didn't do very well this season, so we don't think you're coming back next season. And I can just imagine Ulokuza. Mr. Red making a phone call with hey, listen here, producer. If you ever want to do business here in Durban, ever again, you are going to sign up my wife for the next season. Do you understand me? And the producer is like, hey, yeah, yes, Mr. Reddy. No, Mr. Reddy. It was a mistake. We are going to take Nonko's contracts and give it to Sorisha. It was a big mistake. Yeah, we apologize, Mr. Reddy. Yeah, of course, she's coming back next season, and we'll give her the best tagline, and then they are forced to, because honestly, some of those things do make an influence on who they choose for the next season. But she really hasn't given us anything. She hasn't given us see. She hasn't given us any drama. She hasn't given us any meaningful storyline. She has missed opportunities to even use Indaba Skin Lightning as a storyline. I would have used it, but she didn't use it. We don't know who works for Sorisha. We don't know her extended family. We don't know anything about Sorisha except she's married to Mr. Reddy, and she's supposed to be the nicest, but we are starting to see certain things about her. Also, the thing that is confusing me about her this season is that now she's starting to be like ngazi ukuthi nayo usethatha iphathi empini kaNonku nalaba abanye, because it's uNonku ulwiswa nabo bonke abanye. And I saw a preview next episode where Sorisha is saying maybe I should let go of my attachment to Nonku. What attachment? You are not attached to anyone, Sorisha. I don't see Sorisha being attached to anyone except for Umakumali. Even with Umakumali, it's almost like she doesn't have a choice. That's the husband spoke. Umselego said, Mr. Reddy, please make sure that your wife doesn't abandon my wife on the show. Okay. And then, yes. And then Mr. Red was like, whatever you do, Beleta Umakumalo wherever you go. And she doesn't have a choice there. But other than that, the other women, she hasn't made an effort with them. So does she leave or does she stay? I say she goes. Because Mr. Reddy, if I was the producer, because Mr. Reddy wouldn't be able to find me, because my number is not on Google, I would fire Sorisha. And then Mr. Reddy will be looking for me to call me and say, listen, and you won't be able to do any business in Devon if you fire Sorisha. And I'll be like, Mr. Reddy, I don't have any businesses. So me as the executive as producer, I am firing Usorisha today. The next one is Unoku. We already know the answer, guys. Noku has been. People have been saying Queen helps Unonku with the storyline, but Queen has not been here. Did we see Queen last episode? No. Did we see in episode 8? No. Did we see her in episode 9? No, we didn't. On the trip, who had the most drama? It was Unonku. This past episode 9, who had the most drama is Unonku, who has revealed about her marriage, her parenting of her kids, her relationship with Sfiso, which is very questionable, the Tlaulo thing. Who has revealed that much about her life? Who has talked about her wine? Who did a launch on season 1 that didn't go well? Who did? Nonku. So does she leave or does she stay? Of course, Nonko stays, because honestly, these producers, like, I'm gonna stop watching this show if they don't bring Unonko back. Then the next one is the lady who was almost, but she wasn't, because it was the former president, not really the president. So she was never really going to be the first lady. Don't you think it would have been interesting to have Lakonto as the first lady? Yeah, but she was almost the first lady of Inkandla, Mr. Nonkanyiso Chonco. Nonkanyiso Chonco, really, for me, producers, I think it really depends on whether she brings Mr. Petal to life. If Mr. Petal didn't exist, go and find a guy somewhere who is going to pretend that all along he was Mr. Petal. Go find a guy who knows where you got those flowers. Give him the information where you got those flowers, so that when he comes, he can tell you, yes, I got the flowers. Khona lapho around the estates George, find a man there ohlala close by, because they are going to question you when you said the guy stays 2 houses away. Whatever guy stays 2 houses away from George, whichever is that guy, go and date that guy. Go and beg that guy, please come and appear at the reunion or the last episode of the season, so that I can say, here is Mr. Peter. Mina Ulaxonxo, if she brings Mr. Petal, whether that's the real Mr. Petal or it's just the guy covering for Mr. Petal, I would want Ulaxonxo to come back next season, because then we can question her with, "Hi, Ulaxonxo, this is not Mr. Petal, because this is what you said about Mr. Petal. Mr. Petal bought you an electric car. Why is he not Yena himself driving an electric car? Hi, Ulaxonxo, this is not." It will be interesting next season if Mr. Petal is real. So Ulaxonxo is, her contract is on condition that she brings Mr. Peter. Okay, next one on the line is London London. London London, bye, sis, bye, bye, bye. You didn't even, you are a singer, you are a fashion mogul, you do sunglasses, you do this. I haven't seen any of your sunglasses. I haven't seen you sing. I haven't seen you in the studio. The Umembo so hasn't happened. I've seen your husband twice on the show. I haven't even seen you have a conversation with your husband. I don't even know if your husband exists really, or he's just a ghost that appears at functions and goes, I know. In fact, I want your mother in the next season, not you, because your mother has said more on the show than any other person. Because you are not giving us anything, guys. It's fun. The shade, I like your shade. I like Mausuko Sipa, but I wanna know more about your life. I don't know anything about Lonely London, guys. Nothing. Nada. Not so long ago, I think they were still shooting the show when she bought that car for herself. Even that is not on the show. Or maybe it's still going to be on the show because the show is not off. But if I had to make a decision today, producers, she's out. For me, Ulondi London is out. She has given us neither nothing. There is no storyline. Lutho umgosi futhi umgosi about Noku. I am tired of hearing Ulondi London saying Noku uyadakwa, Noku udakiwe, Noku uhlezi udakiwe. I've had enough. I've had enough. Okay, fine, we accept Noku uyadakwa, but we love her because when she is drunk, what does she do? Creates drama, and we love it. So for me, Ulondi London does not stay. No. Then we move on to Eni Mthembu. Umenzi Mthembu. Listen, Ulonu Eni doesn't have a storyline, guys. Doesn't have a story. Ulona Andy bought a house and that was it. Listen, yeah, when housewives buy houses because they understand whose mission is to create a storyline. Usually, when they buy a house, they will buy a house and then they would renovate the house. And then we follow them by renovating or moving in, buying furniture, getting the designers, having conflicts with the designer of the house. Or guys, Sheree, on Real Housewives of Atlanta has been building a house since season one. We are on season one, it's 55 of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Sheree is still building a house because she has had problems with construction. She has had problems with tax when it comes to building that house. Designers, and then she did a housewarming, and then they discovered what the underground of the house and was not done still. That's what you do when you are a Real Housewives of and just moved into the house. And then she keeps having people to come and bring flowers to the house. And then I'm like, where is the store? No store. And then you have a husband who said, when there's a function and there is unonkukleyo lokuzana yena, he's not gonna go to lokuzana. We don't really care. We don't. We want a wife, kahle kahle. We want your wife, kahle. So does any stay or leave? The executives. I say she leaves. I say we've had enough because we've given her 2 seasons and she has given us absolutely nothing except talking about Unoku. Unless they need somebody, because if they take out everybody that is against Unoku, then it might be boring a little bit. So out of the girls, maybe they must keep in because Annie is really good at talking about Unoku. And that is the only reason they should keep Ulono Eni because she's good at talking about Unonko. So maybe it's on condition that she develops her skills in talking about Unonko. And if her skills in talking about Unonko improves and you really feel like she's really, really good, she talks about Unonko really, really, really well, then maybe she will stay on the show. And then it's Jojo. Jojo flip flops. Maybe I want to see Jojo in the next season because she does the flip flopping very, very, very well. She is friends with this one. The next thing they're talking about her friend, she's talking about her friend too. And then her friend comes and she's crying, she's apologizing to her friend. And then the next thing they're talking bad about her friend, she's there contributing too. I think she does the flip flopping even better than Usorisha does the flip flopping. So I will keep with Jojo just for that. Plus, I would keep with Jojo because I really, 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 really love Kelvin Shema. They must do the real husbands of Devon because Kelvin is a really, really, he does it very well. He knows what the mission is when it comes to being the real husbands of Devon. So I would say Jojo stay because I do want to see your husband on the show. And I do want to see you flip flop because I'm like, yeah, hey, today you are friends with Nonku. Sasa, you are not. Okay, today you are friends with Lodi London. And tomorrow you are not. Who did I leave out, guys? I did not go. I did sorry. Oh, Makumal. Makumalo disappears like the others say. She disappears. Like you think she's here, and then you're like, and then she's gone. Honestly, guys, I think she's a waste of space when it comes to casting for the show. We need somebody that contributes, and she doesn't. She can just be the friend of the show that shows up and talks to Sorisha, because honestly, that's the only person that she ends up talking to Sorisha. So she can be like Neil. Makumal, she can be like Neil. Neil umngani Sorisha, who comes now and then when Sorisha needs someone to talk to, and her husband is overseas traveling, cannot do the conversations. And by the way, Pelu Mr. Red, my ukuluma ngathi useboardroom, even though they are talking about umgosi, but Mr. Red uvele, motivational speaking, he's in the boardroom, so he needs Neil. So Neil can be friends. Umakumalo can be friends with Neil, and then when Sorisha needs someone to talk to, Umakumalo no Neil can go to Sorisha's house, balalele itori Sorisha. Okay. Neil bese advise Sorisha, and then Makumalo says, yeah, that's good, yeah. No, waste of contracts, give it to someone else. I don't know who. I don't know people abantu aba-rich mina. Angibazi abantu aba-rich mina. Telling guys, please suggest people, because the producers are going to be watching this video, and we are the executive as producers, so they will have to take our opinion very seriously. So please write in the comment section what you think going. And then there is Umabusi. Of course, guys, you know what my answer is with Umabusi. Umabusi will be on one episode, and she will be giving it to us. Anybody who can put Jojo in her place, being as rich as she is, umuntu aze in your umuntu afike in your mention, I figure in your mention, I give, and take her back and just walk. Like she's in her own mention. You summon her to have your mention. And she summons you back to your bedroom and gets in her car and go. Guys, I mean, honestly, Mabusa has given everything that the producers could possibly want for her to be a permanent uh, a cast member on the show. So I really wouldn't understand if they do not bring her for the next season. It just wouldn't make sense. So far, you guys, it's up to you. You must vote, because Mina, I'm voting for Nogu, I'm voting for Mabusi, I'm voting for Ujojo, provided she does the flopping very well. Plus, I want to see her husband, and then I'm voting for. If any improves her skills in talking about Unonku, because that's all that she's worth for this show. I Sorisha is out. Oh yes, and Lachongo, on condition that she brings Mr. Petal, because Mr. Petal mengafika. What are we doing? What are we doing? Or maybe next season we'll get Mr. Rose. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like it before Pumegiona and share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. This was just for laughs, guys. So I hope you get to laugh, and that you make me laugh in the comment section. Thank you so much. Nginithanda kakhulu.